Yeah, good morning, everybody. You two from Rattle and Hum, God Part 2. We had to play a God song to start today.
Yeah.
I've been obsessing with the Darryl Strawberry and Tracy Strawberry interview from yesterday. I read my tweets. Some people did like the interview.
Yes.
Some people did like the interview.
Yes. Jesus loved it. Mary loved it.
Right.
And Joseph loved it.
And most people not so much is what you're saying.
I would say that Boston people enjoyed Bill Buckner more in relation to the Mets.
Well, you know what? I mean, we're more than qualified to do celebrity interviews. That's not the problem. But every once in a while, you get kind of caught, and you sit here and you think to yourself, "Wow, I don't know what to do with this." And I'm just being honest with the people. I heard Darryl Strawberry got his life together, but I didn't realize to what extent until yesterday. That guy is very, very different than the Darryl Strawberry we all know.
Yeah. And it's hard when you're in the middle. Like, we knew that the day before we're looking at the book, and I'm like, there's a lot of God stuff in here. But I also looked and said, like, she talked about, being molested, and it was all this stuff about like him being pulled out of crack houses. So I'm like, okay, they're kind of talking about that stuff, but they seem to kind of gloss over, not being dishonest, but just to kind of get to the God stuff. And it was really difficult to navigate that, because how do you stop that? What do you do?
I don't know. I mean, and what you do is you kind of jab a little bit, and you kind of like ask some questions, trying to warm them up a little bit to go down some of these roads, and they just kept bringing it back to God.
Yeah.
I would love to know. I don't know if this is possible.
How many times?
How many times God was mentioned in that interview?
Yeah. I'll find out.
You can find out? You're going to go through the whole thing?
Yeah, why not?
It was like 45 minutes. And then I'm sitting here going, all right, let's get him out of here. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, it'll take me a little while, but I'll go through it.
Is it only 45 minutes?
I think it was.
I think it was a little less than 45
minutes. I thought that was 3 days.
Oh. And then I'm thinking, let's get him out of here. And then I just couldn't get him out of here.
Because you know what it was? It was like there was nothing to call them on.
Right.
Like, look, Darryl did have cancer twice. He was a terrible mess. And now he is doing well. It's like, the only way to break through that is to be confrontational.
Right.
And they were being nice. They weren't being dicks. They weren't being rude.
He was very nice.
They were both very nice when they walked in. It was an awkward position.
Well, I'm glad you brought up that part, because someone called me out on Twitter and they nailed it. I wanted to blow up the interview. Yeah. I wanted to. But I promised my cousin Ricky and my brother-in-law Kenny autographed balls, and they were sitting to my right.
Kenny Mitchell? Kevin Mitchell.
Kevin Mitchell.
God damn it, bad improv.
We'll get into the Kevin Mitchell thing in a second. So I'm sitting here going, you know what? There's another option here. Just blow the fucking thing up. I have no problem doing that from time to time. But I kept looking to my right, and I had two really nice, brand new baseballs that I needed to sign for family members. And I'm thinking to myself, if I blow this up, there's going to be no autographs for anybody.
Yeah, but you could have gotten those for like $10 on eBay.
Yeah.
They're not hard to get.
Yeah.
And somebody tweeted me and go, did you get your picture? Like, so hey, I already had one. I didn't need a strawberry picture.
Yeah. I mean, he was nice and all. And it was interesting to a point. Like, he doesn't care about baseball, has no interest in baseball anymore, because I guess what we learned yesterday, it's kind of his trigger. All that bad stuff that went down revolved around baseball.
I think if you were going to get more information out of Darryl about the addiction and the active part of it, if he was alone, you might have. It's like when Tyson came in with his wife. He's open, but everyone's more cautious around their wife and what they're going to say. It's like you got your wife sitting right there. What are you going to do? Like, you don't want to confess stuff that you think she knows but doesn't. Mm-hmm. So I just didn't know what to do with it, because again, he wasn't being a dick and he wasn't being rude.
I had a lot of eye contact with Darryl Strawberry yesterday during that interview. Sometimes celebrities will just pick somebody in the room, and he was looking at me a lot, and he kept kind of looking down when she kept going and going and going. I think he even knew, like, this might be a little too much, but I don't know. Whatever it takes to save your life. I mean, Darryl Strawberry, most people had him dead by the time he was 50.
Yeah.
And now he's 52 years old, and he looks like he's in a good place, I guess.
And apparently she was a mess, too. It's like, what's something saved them. Like, not only it was God, whatever it was, it might have just been them getting clean. But if you're a bad meth addict or a crack addict and all of a sudden your life is good, it's like those are the kind of religious things I don't mind. If it helps you and it makes you a better person, okay, as long as you're not being a dick about it.
Were you getting uncomfortable when Darryl Strawberry was trying to save your life?
No.
Through Jesus?
That's funny, no.
He put his arm on your shoulder at one point.
Yeah.
Like he wanted to say, come with me, Jim. Come with me. Let me show you something.
I opened that up because the truth was, it was the whole God thing. Like, I really do, as much as I'll kind of get irritated with religious people, I do envy the conviction of either side. I like when Penn Jillette talks, I envy the fact that he is absolutely comfortable and convinced with where he is with it. And then you listen to those two, they're absolutely comfortable and convinced.
Right.
And I'm like, I kind of admire that. Like, I wish I was one. I would love to be a religious fanatic. I would love to be.
I admire all that, but I don't admire it as far as being part of a radio show.
Yeah, that's a good point. If I didn't have fucking ears, I'd admire it more.
Right. Let's say hi to Birdman. Birdman, what do you got, buddy?
Hey, what's happening, brother?
Hello. Hey,
That was fucking pretty bad, man.
The interview?
Yeah, it was pretty bad. And I'm a religious guy.
You're a religious guy.
Yeah, I might curse a little bit, but fucking, I still go to church once when somebody dies, I guess.
Yeah, it was one of those things. It probably was if you're listening to the show.
It sucked, bro.
Yeah,
it sucked, bro.
Fair enough. I mean, I just didn't really know what to do with it. I'll be honest. I didn't know where to go with it. Like, we kept trying to ask questions about other stuff, and when people keep bringing it back to that, like Opie said, you can blow up the interview.
Yeah, but that wouldn't have been nice to do that.
And they weren't being assholes. Like when Paris Hilton was in here, and I wanted to be fucking horrible to her so badly.
Kick her in the cunt.
But you know what? She was just being a little defensive. She wasn't being aggressive. It's kind of hard to attack somebody like that when they're not being aggressive to you.
Especially when they're talking about God and shit. The fuck you supposed to do?
Yeah, what's the victory in that? Darryl Strawberry and his clean and sober wife walk out feeling hurt. She looked good, man. She was sexy.
She's like
white broad or mullion?
She's white.
She's white. She definitely was like a MILF. Even though she's probably around my age, but I still look at women around my age as MILFs. Yeah,
that's how we keep ourselves young. We're like, you're a MILF. What? You're 4 years younger than I am?
Right.
Fuck me.
That's the truth.
He was fucked up, though. Remember back in the day, that guy was all fucked up.
He looked extremely healthy, so I believe that he's been sober for a while. He said 10 years.
Yeah.
Who knows? I'm not here to question that, but it's certainly working for him. He looked very, very sober. So
you expect him to talk about baseball. You know what I'm saying? He was actually a great baseball player. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was listening to see if he talks about baseball.
Or the addiction. I would rather have heard about his after baseball, like crack use and stuff.
Yeah, we were trying, but we just couldn't get in. Sometimes you just can't get in. They know what they want to do. They have an agenda, and his agenda is like, I don't want to talk about my past anymore. So whatever. I mean,
with her,
I don't question anyone's spirituality or religion. For the most part, that's up to you. But I do get uncomfortable when someone mentions God so many times, like Tracy did, his wife. Right. That's when I get uncomfortable. Like, what is going on there? You know,
I was yelling at the fucking radio, "Shut up, you cunt!"
Well, she was nice though.
Birdman.
It would be easier if she was being like mean, but she was just being pleasant. She was smiling the whole time. It's like, she's just a nice lady,
very motherly.
Yeah, she wanted to
whip out your cock. You should have stood up and just whipped out your fucking cock.
Why? She's just a Strawberry. What am I going to compete with Darryl Strawberry? He's fucking 6 foot. Well, Darryl Strawberry is jacked. He still looks like he's fucking 25 years old physically.
Roll a tar paper. He's gonna throw it on the table.
And we discussed that after the fact. I don't know if we said it on the radio. Who knows? But what kind of penis does Darryl Strawberry have? Whether it's really big or he just knows how to use it well, that his woman is willing to go into crack dens in St. Louis to go grab him, and save him.
Money, no?
Huh?
Probably for the money, probably.
No, he probably
has no money.
He's in a crack house in St. Louis. How much money do you think you have when you're in a crack house in St. Louis? I think the funds have run out.
What kind of money do you think he gets from the retirement from baseball?
I'm sure.
Oh yeah, you're probably decent.
I'm sure he does okay, but I mean,
he made some money. He was one of the highest paid players at that time.
He admitted though he lost it all. He admitted that he lost it all to the point that he was living with his sister.
Really?
Imagine living with your sister in your mid 40s
after being that guy.
Yeah, right. That was Strawberry, right?
A few years after retirement, just imagine now you got to move in with your sister. whole
typical fucking move. I hate to say it.
But I mean, he
give them money. What happens?
Well, that's a drug addict move, though. That's fucking.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's fucking horrible.
They said they live in a middle class neighborhood now.
Yeah,
just a regular middle class neighborhood.
You never know, like when someone cleans up and gets like stops doing drugs and shit. You never know what kind of interview you're going to get. Like a guy like Doc Gooden came in. And unfortunately, he was pressed for time, but we could have talked to him for 3 hours. He was...
Right.
That's who I thought Darryl Strawberry was on once before. It was Doc Gooden. I remember that.
It was good, and he was amazing.
And he opened up and did tell the story, so we knew we could handle this yesterday, but it just, I don't know.
We got Strawberry on the wrong book. Like, when he was doing his biography about, like, his life, that's probably when you would have got him, when he was on alone and talking about that stuff. But now that he's with his wife and he's written this positive marriage book... I mean, maybe we should have said no, but it was like I wanted to take a shot with it and say, like, all right.
Right.
About baseball, talking about the other shit. Like you said about it.
The one story that he did tell for, I think it was the Huffington Post, he admitted that the Kevin Mitchell story is true.
See, I didn't know that story
This
at
Kevin
all.
Mitchell story has been around for a really long time. Kevin Mitchell played on the '86 World Series. He was on the team, right? Because I think because they traded him. I think the next year, if I'm not mistaken, because the rumor was that Kevin Mitchell was a really bad influence on Strawberry and Gooden, and that's why Kevin Mitchell thinks he was traded by the Mets. But he was on the '86 team.
He went to San Diego after.
He killed like Darryl Strawberry's cat or something.
No, he killed his girlfriend's cat. He decapitated it. This story's been around for a long time. And Darryl Strawberry, in an interview yesterday, unfortunately wasn't on our show, admitted that the story's true.
Ugh.
That the story is true. The infamous story surrounding the '86 World Series champion Mets appeared to have 9 lives, but Darryl Strawberry may have given it immortality. Strawberry, while doing a promotional event Tuesday for his new book, corroborated, a tale that had become something of an urban legend among Mets fans. Kevin Mitchell, Straw's fellow power-hitting outfielder on the '86 team, was said to have decapitated his girlfriend's cat amid an argument. There you have it.
Scumbag.
Oh, where's that scumbag now?
I don't know. I mean, Kevin Mitchell was a tough guy. He was a tough dude. I mean,
sure, he beat that cat.
Yeah, but I think he was connected to gangs and all that when he was playing. Yeah. He just came from a tough area. To be fair, though, Kevin Mitchell has said it's all bullshit.
Right.
But someone else also said it was true. I'm trying to see if it was good in. The shocking story from the Mets' wild days in the late 80s first surfaced, in pitcher Dwight Gooden's 1999 autobiography, Heat. Mitchell has denied the story on many occasions, but each time he thought it was dead, it came back. So
how about his girlfriend? What has she said?
I don't know. I don't know if she's ever spoken about it, so.
I remember that, too. That was a long time ago, too, man.
You remember what? The rumor?
Yeah, with the cat. I remember that.
Yeah.
I wish I knew that, man. I had never heard that before.
I tried to call in yesterday while he was on yesterday. I tried to call.
Yeah, the phones were just lit because everyone had Jesus questions.
Yeah,
my goodness, it was unbelievable.
You wouldn't want me on the phone when he was there.
If it would have spiced it up, who cares?
Yeah, you think?
Yeah, why not?
I don't give a fuck. All right, listen.
All right, Birdman. Always a pleasure, brother.
You too, brother.
All right, let's say hi to Noah in New York. Noah.
Hey, good morning, boys.
Good morning.
Hi.
I just want to congratulate you guys on the most painful yet brilliant radio yesterday. It was it was rough, but
why was it? It can't be brilliant and painful at the same time.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was brilliant.
Yeah, it wasn't close to brilliant.
It was so painful that it became brilliant.
Yeah, that was a side effect of it just being painful. It was not intended to be brilliant.
At the first 15 minutes, I was like, okay, and then finally, it was, oh my God, this is actually amazing. I completely hear what you're saying about wanting the signed balls for your kids. That was a thought that was going through my mind. The other thought was, now that Anthony's gone, you can't kind of fuck up the entire radio show. Like, you would normally blow that up after 20 minutes of nonsense. But this time you're like, all right, I got to be a little bit more mature, changing.
No, I had nothing to do with that.
No, I don't. I just don't blow up things as much as I used to because it really started hurting the radio show. It made for great radio, but then we went through a time where we couldn't get any guests anymore because the reputation was out that they're going to just fuck with you and make you look like an asshole. So now you got to pick your spots.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. And I didn't feel, Jimmy made a good point. They weren't being Paris Hilton. Paris Hilton, I would have no problem blowing that up, but they were just nice people. What am I going to do?
Yeah, the guys like, it's not my life, but yeah, like, they're doing okay. They're clean and so it's like, what are you gonna do? Fucking get out, God lover, and then they walk out. We got them. Like, what do you want us to do with that?
Sometimes we just get stuck, and we know everyone's listening, and we know like fuck, we're in this for the long haul, and we don't know what to do. So I told Jimmy the best thing to do is just discuss how bad it was, and maybe you get radio out of that. I don't know.
Yeah, look, their marriage was falling apart. She did probably save the guy's life. Mm-hmm. So, good luck to him. I hope it works out and that they do okay.
I did feel like if all I had to do was tell Daryl Strawberry that I was thinking of, going to church more, and I think I could hang out with him.
He'd give you his number.
I feel like he would.
Yeah, or his email. He'd say email me.
Oh,
yeah, email me. I think he'd say email.
But then if I worked the email properly, then I think I'm hanging out with Daryl Strawberry in churches. How amazing is that, being a huge Mets fan back in the day? Yes. Not so much nowadays, but 86 Mets, forget it. It was amazing.
Yeah, it would be a little uncomfortable. I can't.
He would absolutely have taken us to a church. That's what we should have done. You should have said, you know what? I don't know. Let's go to church. We would have went to church with Daryl Strawberry and his wife yesterday.
I know,
but how bad would that have been?
Yeah,
then we would have felt guilty that we're in a church just because it's Daryl Strawberry.
Yeah, I wouldn't have enjoyed that. Now, if Ozzy got religious, you want to go to church? Do you? Yes, I do. I certainly would.
All right, Noah.
Oh, just quickly, I do want to say that you did try a little bit, which I do appreciate. You're still having sex, right? You did a few times. So.
Yeah, because it came out like they stopped having sex because that was one of the issues, Daryl's issue or her issue or both their issues. I don't know.
It was hers. She said, we're not having sex anymore.
Right.
And then he went back and lived with his sister. I guess he was cheating a lot. Right. But I asked him, did he get caught or something like that? Or would you get
caught her?
And no, I know that, but he kind of bypassed it, and it's like...
That's what I'm talking about. We had some of those... How this works... You can't just go, so you were molested. Talk about it. You got to be careful.
Right, yeah.
So you throw out these questions and you start feeling it out. And every time, like one of those questions that could have led to some good shit was just the God block was put up.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, God.
Who knows? Maybe we could have gotten there. Maybe we just, I don't know. I feel like we did the best we can with that.
With two of them, it's, I think, a little harder because then one will start and then the other one just will start talking about something else, and then God, and again, that's with any couple who's, I imagine, who knows? I don't know what it's like to be in that situation.
All right, Noah, thank you. Let's go to Jersey.
Just nice.
I know. Joe in South Jersey. Hey.
Hey, guys, how's it going?
All right.
So, yeah, I'm a Christian, and I can't say that I necessarily loved the interview yesterday. I mean, it definitely was a little slow and a lot not what we're used to on the show. But I think it was kind of necessary with you guys, being a well-rounded radio show. I mean, sometimes we need to feed our brains with stuff that we're not used to hearing, right? So for anyone who's not a Christian, it can be good to just kind of hear what the other side is, and it doesn't have to convert you. And if you are a Christian, then it's just something kind of extra to hear, on the show. You know what I mean?
But it doesn't have to sound like the 700 Club,
right?
That was like a 700 Club type thing.
Yeah, it was long.
Yeah, I agree. Man.
I would that type of stuff when I see it on TV, I turn it off. It frightens me. When God is mentioned so much.
Really religious people should realize that too. Like your message of God, like a lot of times you might have a great message if you're a couple that was doing crack and now you're sober and clean and life is good. But when you say God, and this is, they all born again seem to do this, when you mention God so much, whether you mean to or not, you're actually throwing up a barrier that is pushing people out of interest. And they don't realize because it seems very obsessive.
Right.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I definitely some of the the weird the weird slip-ins where she would be like, "Oh yeah, it's good with God," and what was the one that they were talking about? Opie, after you asked if they're having sex again, and she was like, "Yeah, in God's covenant we are." Like those kind of little asides, I agree, are a little weird and can throw people off. I think the main theme of what they were talking about was cool, but I do agree with that. And yeah, I think they stopped having sex with because she was probably at a different place in her relationship with God than he was. Right, so
Probably.
I think I think she's probably got to the point where she was like, okay, I don't want to be having sex outside of marriage. Maybe before she was, and that's why she said, hey, we're not having sex.
So
I don't think it was like a random, like, hey, I don't want to have sex anymore.
So if you embrace God, you gotta like stop having sex for a while, or?
Well, I mean, that's how God wants you to do it, right? It's to wait until you're married to be having sex.
I would assume if I would assume God would want us to use our penises.
Yeah.
He gave us
on as many people as possible,
right.
and angrily.
Right, he gave us our penises.
That's right. He didn't shape it like a weapon for nothing.
Why would you give us our penises and then have all these strict rules about it? Yeah. That doesn't make sense to me whatsoever.
Exactly. The fucking mouth fits perfectly around it. Come on, who are we kidding? Built that way for a reason.
I think there's some rules in one of those old books. I don't know.
God didn't make an asshole snug for nothing, my friends.
Jesus.
But I would love to know, and again, it's more awkward because there's so many of us. I think people are more defensive. But I would love to know with a religious couple, when you have sex, is it like, are you comfortable being dirty with each other? Like, and then people would go like, oh, that's private. But like, are you comfortable just talking dirty and going to another place? Or do you talk about God? Or do you say like, oh, I feel so good, praise him? Like,
right.
That would kill me in bed.
That would be a great question if someone was willing to answer that. Like, what kind of positions are you allowed to do if you're like hardcore God? Missionary, obviously. Yeah. Doggy style, is that too crazy for the God-loving people?
Maybe you have to phrase it right. Like, come on, let's chase Satan. We're chasing Satan out of here.
All right, Bobby, we see you. Bobby has to be all dramatic outside the fucking studio. We're in the middle of trying to do something here. But what does sexual positions? Can you do, Hi, Bob. Jesus. You all right?
Some son.
What do you got?
Well, it's a good question. Can we do different sexual positions?
Yeah.
We're talking about Dow Strawberry in the religious interview we had yesterday.
Heard about it.
And can religious people do anything? I mean, I guess they can. Why not?
What positions, though? You could do the missionary, but what's the second position?
On top you can do? On top, you
just a regular on top,
absolutely,
not backwards cowgirl or whatever the hell it's called these days.
No, that's too detached. There's no love in that.
What about
eye to eye? There's probably a lot of eye contact.
Side to side, you could do a little side to side action.
If she's looking back at you,
side to side, but you can't go all out doggy style. Probably.
No, it's probably too physically unpleasant.
Right.
It's probably too detached from what is a connection.
You can do anal. I know a real Christian girl that you couldn't do
vaginal.
Because
let's call it vaginal.
Vaginal,
right?
You couldn't do vaginal because of the pregnancy. You might have make a life, and then you have to have the baby because you can't abort it.
But isn't that wasting seed though if you're doing anal?
Oh, yeah, I don't know if you can cum in her ass.
I think I got at least,
but I think you can put it in and then jizz on the floor.
I think I got at least 2 brothers because you're not allowed to abort if you're like religious. I was brought up religious.
Yeah, back then, yeah.
And my parents were they were very religious because they just feared God and the nuns. So I do believe I have at least 2 brothers because, they got pregnant and they had to just have the kids because they were good Catholics.
Yeah. I mean, my grandfather had 8 kids.
I think my mom would have had no problem having an abortion. I think.
Yeah?
I think so.
You think?
I think she would have had no problem with that.
You think she would have said, "Let's head down to the clinic in a heartbeat"? She run me down to the clinic.
She mentioned a few times that she had too many fucking kids.
How many murders have you done? How many babies have you killed?
Me?
Yeah.
None.
You never killed a baby?
No. Why would I do that?
You never did any?
You know what? Never.
I was just very. I was very careful.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm really good looking.
Fuck yeah. You don't need to say that to us. We're enjoying the view.
If you're really good looking, you got to be fully aware where your sperm is at all times.
Yeah.
Because some of these women can be very tricky.
Yeah.
E-Rock knows. He used to be good looking.
Absolutely.
E-Rock used to be good looking, and he knows. He used to take his seed with him.
He would take his rubber home.
He would take his seed with him.
Yeah,
because he was hungry.
He'd snack on it.
He would take the condoms filled with jizz with him when he left.
What is he?
Right, E-Rock? Tell him.
That's true.
What do you play for the Celtics?
It's true though.
True, really?
Yeah.
Well, you thought they would put it back in?
Wrap it in toilet paper, and then you put it in that little coin pocket in your jeans.
Ugh.
The little baby pocket?
Yeah, then it explodes. You have cum in your pocket.
He would put it in the baby pocket?
The baby Levi's pocket?
And then you throw it out when you're driving on the highway.
Oh, that's great. There's a squirrel eating your load in the fucking shoulder somewhere. They think they found fucking cake batter.
Some highway worker has to see your condom with ants on it.
It'd be great if it fucking landed on a decapitated hooker. Or some guy breaks down and he's changing a tire and he puts his knee in your fucking load. Delightful.
Joe, are we done with you? Bobby kind of, just walked in.
Hi, Joe.
I forgot.
Hey, that's cool. Hey, what's up, Bob?
You got your point out?
Yeah, I think so, man. As far as the different positions go, man, I'm a born again, and we do anything. I mean, there's not like, to my knowledge, everything within inside of the marriage is good to go.
So born agains are all in with a lot of different positions. All right.
Yeah, it's all good.
It's not about, you don't have to say God all the time while you're having sex, or no? Can you say things like fuck me or I'm gonna or dirty talk?
Yeah, I got no problem with dirty talk. I love dirty. I mean, dude, for me, man, the dirtier the better. I'm all about.
But it doesn't have to be about bonding under his covenant.
Well, the whole act is bonding, right? I mean, that's the reason Christianity stresses sex within the marriage is because anything that you're doing with another person like that is really, is creating a bond there, right? So you're developing that love bond with the person that you're with, which is why sex outside of marriage is stressed. I think is kind of not a good thing because you're developing a bond there with that person that is going to not be, something that you have permanently.
When you're having sex, can you say things like "fuck me harder" in honor of he who was cast out?
Where's the dirty talk at? Where is the dirty talk at? Great line by Jimmy, but it brings up a serious question. Are you allowed to talk dirty?
Sure.
Yeah, dirty talk's fine.
You just can't use the Lord's name in vain. You can't say, "Oh God, oh Jesus, Jesus God."
Or no, you can probably say that, but not goddamn.
But wouldn't
I don't think he... Oh, okay, yeah.
Goddamn is taking it in vain.
But wouldn't God appreciate that while you're having a good orgasm that you yell goddamn?
Yeah, goddamn, no. He wouldn't like that at all.
That's the Lord's name in vain.
In vain. That's a sin.
But if I was God, I would be like, right on, man. You're thinking of me during an amazing time for yourself. That's kind of cool.
Somehow I feel like you've been God in your own mind.
Yeah. A few times.
I'd just be happy if a girl was thinking of Jim while I fucked her. I'd be shocked and happy. Yeah, I kind of wonder that because it makes it sound so unappealing to me. Is the lack of ability to be dirty? It seems
we got a guy that could answer more. Thank you, sir. I just hung up on the other guy.
Hi, Daryl. Oh.
Tom in New Hampshire. Tom.
Hey guys, hey, so I'm Catholic, and my wife and I were full on into bondage and everything, ropes, knots, all that stuff.
Now, by bondage, do you mean sexually, or do you mean like, are you being metaphorical? Do you mean like the bondage of material possessions?
No, yeah, right. No, we weren't hoarders, but no, I would tie her up and all that jazz, hang weights off her clit and all that stuff. But
all right,
yeah, but we were into that, before we were married, but we were Catholic.
But if you become really into religion, though, is there guilt as you're hog tying your woman?
No, I mean, I guess there could be, but because, like the other caller said, he wasn't full of shit. You're bonded, pun intended, I guess, with that person. That's something that you're both comfortable with, right? So it's an expectation, or it's something that you're not crossing a line with. Okay.
Yeah, but isn't sex supposed to be for
just to have a kid?
Yeah, to reproduce,
right,
and make a family.
I suppose it could have been. Not to interrupt you, but I suppose it could have been. But in our case, my wife didn't have kids, so.
Like, is it dirty if you're having, like, if two religious people are having anal sex? Is that considered dirty? Mm-hmm. If it's, like you said, not for procreation, like, and say the woman, if the guy is getting close to orgasm and she says, "Oh, give that log of shit a Klan hat," like, is that considered not an act of love?
Going back to my mom's situation, because my mom had 7 kids, okay?
Yeah.
And she actually went down to the local church because we didn't have a lot of money, and asked the church for help, and basically said, "You people told me to have all these kids. I need help now."
Good for her.
She actually said that. Because in her mind, I don't think she planned on having 7 kids.
Right, yeah.
But it would have been bad that they had an abortion. Obviously,
why don't religious people pull out? Like, why not just? Can't they just pull out?
I think back then it was the rhythm method or something that everyone was really counted on. And maybe my dad just sucked in math. I don't know.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Well, my mother had my sister when she was 15, and she had to go to a home. Like, she went to the hospital by herself and then had to go to a home with nuns and live there for a while. Like, it was fucked up.
Those nuns must have been perverted.
Huh?
They must have got off on that a little bit.
What do you mean?
A young woman pregnant among them. What? Think about it. That's twisted that you make the pregnant moms go to the nuns.
Yeah, it was weird, man. I mean, it was weird.
And then a lot of those people had to move back in the day to these towns. Where are these towns where all the single pregnant moms went to?
What do you mean? They had to go. They had to move them out of the town.
I've heard that over the years. Yeah, they had to move. They were shunned by their community and had to go move somewhere else.
That's right. And the fucking one swinging dick postman walking all those single moms.
They had to move to a town where dancing was illegal until Kevin Bacon came in.
Dude, that's such a good movie. So powerful.
So to finish up with my mom, so then the church didn't help her out, and I think that's when she started turning her back on the church. Like, it's all fucking.
They didn't turn. You said didn't.
They didn't help her out.
They didn't. Okay.
They didn't help her out. Sorry, they didn't come up with any real plan for her and her 7 kids that she felt the church made her do in a way. And I think that's when she kind of started, turning her back on God and religion, or at least organized religion. Going, it's all fucking bullshit.
I couldn't imagine. Like, my grandfather had 8 kids at 40. Started when he was 40. Had 8.
Started at 40.
Started at 40. Had 8.
Wow.
And I can't. I have 1 kid, and I can't fucking imagine having 2 kids. I can't imagine having 8 kids or 7 kids is fucking off the charts. I don't know how the fuck you did it.
I respect my parents way more now that I have 2. Because I'm like, we had 7.
Oh.
So I look at my wife, I'm like, imagine another 5 just running around. And we were all 1 year apart.
And the mother took care of the kids back then. Like, my grandfather worked, came home, had dinner, played with them a little bit, and then had to go to bed to work again.
Right, yeah.
And then on weekends he gardened and went golfing.
Right. That is such a procreation-based. That's why people were designed for a long time, just to procreate.
Yeah.
And that became your goal.
Yeah.
Especially if 7 kids without. I mean, they didn't have like Opie money. Like, they had fucking just regular.
We didn't even have regular money. We were definitely lower middle class for most of my upbringing. Well, but then every once in a while, my dad would hit. That's what made it weird. He was kind of like an entrepreneur. He would hit on some weird fucking thing, And then he had all these schemes. We were at church for a while.
Really?
Yeah. For the tax exempt. We didn't have to pay taxes. There was a little loophole for a while there. We were an actual church.
Your family was a church?
Technically,
the Church of Ope?
Yeah, technically.
What the fuck?
But my parents would get mad because they would give me the tax exempt form. They want us to use it whenever we bought shit. And imagine going with your friends to buy sneakers or clothes, whatever. And then I would come home and they would fucking grill me if I used the tax exempt form or not.
Really?
Because you used to, I guess, I don't even remember really because it's so many years ago, but I think I had to hand this over. I don't remember because I never did it. I was mortified. But I guess you handed this to the cashier and they just knew not to, charge you the taxes on goods. Yeah.
What was the religion?
It was just, it wasn't, it was just to save money.
So
we didn't do anything.
He didn't go in the backyard on Sunday by the pool, by the blow-up pool.
No, nothing. But he figured out this loophole with his pals.
Funny.
He was always scheming with his pals. There was always something going on.
I always wanted lunch tickets. I was always stuck in the middle of not being poor enough and not making enough money. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't get. I always wanted the lunch tickets. I always get jealous because the kids would go down and just get a sheaf of lunch tickets.
Right.
And it seemed like lunch was free for them. And I always had to go with my mother made me a peanut butter and jelly every day. No changing, no nothing. A peanut butter and jelly with an apple. No fucking good snacks.
All right, that was my meal. I'll challenge you.
With a note on the napkin of fucking, hey, your mommy loves you.
I didn't get the note. And it's legendary that there was one time I did bring my lunch in a cement bag because she wouldn't even buy the nice little sandwich bags. But I would have to use the big shopping bags. And then when we ran out, one time I did use a cement bag with my lunch.
For cement?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a true story.
Did she wash it out, or was it still dust in it?
I remember, and I swear I'm not doing this for the radio. I remember it was a bit dusty still. But there was a plastic, it was plastic inside, but the dust got in between the plastic and the paper on the outside. So there was a lot of dust. And my apples were always bruised because she figured out how to get fruit cheap. Back in the day, they used to sell like bruised apples cheaper. Ew. So every day I had a bruised apple.
A mealy bruised apple.
And then also she went with the Pepperidge Farm bread, the day-old bread, which was paper thin, so the jelly would soak through.
Yeah,
so
my jelly would soak through too.
Oh, it did.
But she always put more jelly on because it was she didn't want to waste the peanut butter. I'd get a little thin layer of peanut butter,
right,
and then mostly jelly to make the sandwich look a little bulky, and it would always be wet.
So what kind of bread was it? You didn't have Wonder Bread either, right?
It was Wonder Bread. It was white bread.
Oh, you got Wonder Bread.
I got Wonder Bread.
I bowed to people that had Wonder Bread.
Every once in a while, that thin, like French, it was like thin.
Yeah. That was Pepperidge Farm, basically.
Yeah, that sucked.
But I figured out when I got older, I started making my own sandwiches. I would put peanut butter on both sides. Then the jelly doesn't soak through.
I started taking lunch tickets from other kids and fucking made money. I used to make money. I used to hang out at the end of the line because anybody with $1, they'd always get $1 for lunch. It was 85 cents for lunch, so you had 15 cents.
That's about right.
I'd hang at the end of the line and, hey, dude, just let me 15 cents. And what are you going to do with 15 cents? Nobody kept it.
Right.
So they'd give me all that. And then I'd take a lunch ticket. Whenever I heard over the loudspeaker, come down for your lunch tickets, it'd always be a group of people. I'd hang out in front, go to the bathroom and say, give me one, just give me one.
Yeah.
And everybody would give me a lunch ticket. Me and this kid, Bobby Sacchetti. And then we'd sell the lunch tickets to the guys in line with $1. We'd be like, here, just take the lunch ticket. You're only lending me 15 cents. We had this whole scam going.
Nice.
So every week we'd make like $30 a week to buy pot and fucking booze.
I used to
eat lunch. Fuck yeah, Chip.
I used to steal the change. I had guilt because I used to steal the change from my parents. But then I started a business where I started selling candy, but that's a story for another day.
I used to steal change too.
Sell change?
I used to steal change.
I would steal the change. This is where my guilt. And then as soon as I got to school, the lunch went right in the fucking garbage. And then I had change in my pocket for the pizza and everything else, and I ate like a fucking human being with the rest of the people.
Yeah, that's what I did.
But I had the guilt of throwing this lunch away every day.
I had no guilt. I used to toss that. As soon as I got off the bus, I'd fucking huck that shitty sandwich with its dumb apple and a fucking queer note right in the garbage.
Remember the people that used to trade their lunches? I had nothing to trade ever.
I feel bad now.
Do you remember those guys?
We'd never.
They would put their lunch out, and then you would pick and choose. Like, I'll take your pudding. I kind of want a banana today, or whatever.
Ring dings and yoo-hoos.
I had none of that. I had nothing to bargain with. Nothing.
Yeah, who's going to change for a soggy jelly sandwich and an apple?
Hey, you want some Fluffernutter in a paper cup with some Winston cigarettes in it?
I fucking hate Chip. That doesn't make sense.
Where were we?
I used to steal change from my uncle all the time. You know the big change jars?
Yeah.
I stole his whole change jar one day to go buy pot. I had a pea coat. I ripped the pockets. I poured it in it was like $100 worth of quarters and nickels and dimes.
Right.
In the pea coat, and I'm standing at the bus stop it's midsummer. It's fucking like 85 out. I got a pea coat on, waiting for the bus. My uncle pulls up. Where you going? I'm just going. Me and my friends goes, I'll give you a ride. I had to slowly get into his car.
So he doesn't hear the change.
Dude, I had to slowly get in. He goes, what the fuck you wearing a coat for? I don't know, I heard it was going to get cold later. Fucking asshole. When I got sober, though, I paid him back.
Yeah.
I gave him a C note, they call it, Jimmy.
Good thing he didn't have a magnet in there, right, Bob?
All right.
What?
Let's.
Fucking hate Chip. It never.
He's great now.
You love Chip.
I love him now. I absolutely love him.
You have no choice. You need as many bodies in here as you can.
I have no fucking choice. I love him now. Chip can say whatever he wants. Yeah, I still got a gig.
Fucking Chip, Paul. Get off me, Edgar. Can I have a napkin, you fucking asshole?
Let's go to Trucker Bob in Missouri. Trucker Bob.
Hey, boys.
Hey.
Hi, Bob.
Yeah. One of Rob White's bits that talks about his grandma caught him jacking off, and she told him that the Bible says that it's better to spill your seed in the belly of a whore than upon the ground.
Wow, so don't waste that seed.
Don't waste that seed.
Man.
Later, boys.
All right.
Cool.
That's where
That's the Bible. It's the very
that's where the Bible and
Absolutely.
and the organized religion
Yes.
kind of loses me a little
the
bit.
edited works of the time. That's what the Bible should be called. Chosen stories.
Yeah, they chose those stories. There were a whole bunch of others that didn't make the cut.
I mean, but you think about it. When you're having a kid, I mean, your jizz. Did you have a kid like the first when? Well, let's try to do it, and it happened the first time, or did it take a while?
I'm lethal.
It just happened.
I'm lethal.
Really?
Lethal. Both kids first try.
Took me a year and a half.
Without even knowing if like we were in the proper zone.
Really?
I'm lethal.
Wow.
So is she obviously then.
Yeah, it took us a year and a half. And
I know it did.
A lot of people, it takes a long time. So, when you're jizzing, all the time, it's like.
No, I got lethal sperm, man. It's crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck.
One and done both times.
Really?
For real.
That's crazy.
For real.
Do you wear a condom now?
Yeah.
Somebody, you wear a bag?
Or
I could never do it.
Or be very careful.
But you keep a rod in a bag. I'm amazed you can keep a rod in a bag.
I can't keep a rod in a bag either.
What's wrong with you guys?
The only time I can keep a rod in a bag if I'm jerking
I don't
off.
even notice the difference, really. I swear.
I wish.
Yeah.
Thanks for your muttering, Sam.
By the way, somebody tweeted something very important. Bob Kelly's lunch note said, "Your mommy loves you" on the front, but your stepdad thinks you're an asshole on the back.
All right, we got a couple things. We got a guy from Kuwait. Wow. Stay there, Kuwait. Oh, no, we'll go to Kuwait first. Fuck it.
Yeah, don't rush.
Muhammad in Kuwait. Are you really calling from Kuwait?
I swear to God, man, this is awesome.
Are you from the States originally?
No.
So how the hell are you a fan?
I found out about your show on the internet through YouTube originally, and then I found other sources.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Oh shit! You guys have moved on, but I want to talk to Jimmy about the religious stuff.
Okay.
And, when you guys did that interview, I actually enjoyed the interview. I didn't know the guy as a baseball player, but he seemed pretty honest and pretty real. I don't think he was being, forceful or fake about it.
No,
Jimmy, I understand.
I just want to add, I believed Daryl Strawberry big time. Yes, absolutely.
They weren't being fake.
No. It's
Jimmy,
working for him. It seems like. So who am I to question that? Jesus.
Yeah, and Jimmy, buddy, I know where you're coming from as far as like hating religion and being frustrated with it. I've gone through that myself. A lot of people have, but I'm just like, why don't you take the good parts of it? Like Daryl Strawberry seemed to be talking about the good sides of religion and how to apply it in a way that works.
Well, I have. I mean, I have mentioned that there's a lot of good stuff in it, and I acknowledge it. But it's hard to get. I don't know if I'm interested enough in getting. Like, I don't even know if I buy the idea of God anymore. So that's where my dilemma is. It's not that I hate all religious people. I think there's a lot of good things. A lot of them are very good people, but I just don't. I don't buy it anymore. You don't believe
you're an intelligent guy. I know that you don't generalize like the hatred or the bad but
you don't believe in a
power of example or
that type of stuff. To a deity, like an actual a fella,
right,
who looks down and goes, "I'm thinking and you're thinking."
I mean, like during the interview or after the interview, you guys talked about. I wish he talked more about his. Maybe that was something that made him a little uncomfortable, or
probably.
I think he progressed, and you're a guy who's been through addiction, so maybe you understand that if he's been through all that and he's reached the stage, you can probably relate to that. I was hoping you could relate to him, but instead you were, a little, I don't know. Alienated by him.
But I did relate to him. Hold on. I did relate to him on his addiction obviously went much farther than mine did. I stopped so young. But I did talk to him about that. And they were the ones veering away from that stuff. So the choice, I wasn't going to bond with them on the idea of being as Christian as they are. But the stuff that I did understand, the addictive behavior and stuff, we tried to get into that a few times and kind of just hit on it here and there. And they were moving it back to where that religious talk was. So the only
probably for the better, don't you think? Don't you think it's better that they don't want to talk about?
No, I don't. I'll tell you why. Because you're selling a book. Part of it is the religious aspect of it, but they did mention that stuff in the book. So if it's in the book, you maybe would talk about it a little bit more. And knowing that people are listening, it doesn't mean you just give a bunch of war stories with no message. But people would be more interested to hear kind of about what got you there first, then hear the victory of you being sober, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, and I just remembered something. The key is that he was honest, wasn't it? So he kept talking about religion, but at least he wasn't doing it in sort of like a pyramid scheme, sort of a scam sort of way.
And that's why we treated him nicely.
Being honest. Religion worked for him, so this is the guy you want to listen to, as opposed to the other people who try to pull you and go, "Hey, follow my religion. Hey, guess what Jesus says," and all that. He's actually used it in a way that works, so he's the guy you should listen to. He's the guy we shouldn't be mad at.
We're not mad at him. That's why we treated him nicely.
I'm not mad at him at all. I don't think it made good radio for our core audience, but I was completely fascinated by his story because I can't imagine a guy that was that great at his sport that doesn't want anything to do with it and has completely moved on from baseball. I thought that was amazing to hear, and I believe the guy too. He's like, why would I go to Citi Field? And I'm thinking, God, if I was an old Met that won the World Series in '86 and stuff, I'd still be in baseball big time. And it's obvious he doesn't want to talk about it. He doesn't care about it at all.
Well, he said he doesn't know a lot of those guys too, except for Jeter. Most of them have retired.
Yeah, but you're still Darryl Strawberry.
Can you imagine if he pretended that he wanted to talk about baseball and he just gave a fake interview? I think it's better that he's honest.
Oh yeah, I absolutely. I respect the guy that he
You're saying something we agree with,
right?
Well, thank God. I'm just saying with Jimmy, he's talking about religion in a way that he's kind of alienated and kind of disgusted by it. But
hold on, let me ask you something, dude. You're making the same point over and over, and I'm agreeing with you that the way they did it, I agreed with.
I'm a little nervous.
No, but you don't have to be.
Okay.
I had no problem with Darryl and his wife. It wasn't great for an interview. They were nice people. They were sincere. So there was no reason to attack them or be a dick to them. They didn't deserve that. But I would prefer to have discussed something else. And I told them where I was at with God, and they were nice.
There you go.
Maybe they needed a little more time. Maybe. I don't know. How long were they there?
45 minutes. There was plenty of time, dude. And maybe that was our fault for not getting it out of them. Hey,
who knows?
I didn't know about that Kevin Mitchell story. I wish I had. It's my fault.
All right. And you guys got a lot of calls saying they didn't enjoy the interview. I enjoyed it a lot.
We did get some people that did enjoy it. I just don't think, when you do this radio show, you got to kind of focus on the core audience. And I know they probably were tapping out a lot. But whatever. What are you going to do? But we just got a good hour out of it today by discussing how awful it was, and it brought us to some different places today. So
I think you guys did great. It was a good interview, and I enjoyed it.
Boy, you should read my Twitter. I don't think I'm that great at all.
Twitter.
What happened?
And they post whatever they feel like saying. Some of them probably don't even listen to the show.
I certainly don't think I'm great.
He just went from a very soft-spoken religious guy to a fucking angry guy.
Oh, yeah.
Did you hear that?
I like that. Muhammad is on my side. I like this. What's your Twitter? I'm following you. I like this.
Yeah.
I will follow all Muhammads. They don't play.
Not all.
Are you kidding me? Have you read my Twitter lately? I need some Muhammads.
I read your tweets, but I don't read the responses and all that stuff.
It's a waste
Twitter's
of time.
I'm not on Twitter, but I go on your Twitter and read your tweets. I read Anthony's tweets and Jimmy's tweets, and you guys make me laugh a lot, and you're really cool.
Oh, thanks.
Why does he live there?
Yeah, he's from there.
Why do I live there? I'm from Kuwait.
Okay, well, no, a lot of people get transferred over.
A lot of people move there. Perhaps they were in Sweden.
I hear Kuwait.
No, there's a lot of military people that went there.
I hear Kuwait's pretty cool.
Kuwait's great. I've been there twice. It was unbelievable.
Muhammad, what are you doing?
You've been to Kuwait?
Yeah, I've been there twice. It's beautiful. I've
Holy shit,
eaten at the Ship restaurant. What's that?
Dude, you gotta like make the public when you go to Kuwait. I would love to see you there if you do anything there.
Well, I went there with the USO.
I saw that movie. It wasn't very good, though.
What's that?
Heaven Kuwait.
He didn't do it as Chip either.
No, I didn't. I made a conscious decision to take that one as Jim.
You weren't sure which way to go with that.
No, I knew. That was screaming Chipperson.
I love it. What do you do over in Kuwait, Muhammad?
I'm a student.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
I mean, I live here. I'm from this country, so, I'm a student right now. I'm 22 years old.
All right. Thank you, Mom.
Yeah, right on. This came up, too, before we move on, that they traded one addiction for another. But isn't that okay? If they're now addicted to God and religion? How is that hurting them?
It's a lot. This is not going to kill you. I mean, just saying God too many times or looking at it, maybe they did, but... You know, that logic is bad if you go from heroin to fucking methamphetamines.
Right.
But if you quit all drugs and drinking and then you just talk about God too much, I don't think that's the equivalent addiction trade. I'm
You
sorry,
end
it's
up
not.
being addicted to coffee and cigarettes instead of, booze.
Yeah, you have to look at immediate penalties or how long are you able to do this before it destroys everything.
Right.
You know, and drugs are the priority. You got to quit.
Right. All right.
Yeah.
Wow, a lot of phone calls. I guess we could take a break, though.
Yeah.
Did you guys get your... Yeah, we got our ball signed by Strawberry. That was one reason why I didn't blow
I already
it up.
had one.
Yeah, I needed to get some signatures yesterday.
I didn't need any of this.
We got Bob Kelly in studio and Todd Barry for the first time.
Yep.
He's here. He's going to
Love Todd.
Stop in and say hi. So I think we're going to go to break with a little song. They ain't related, but they do be brothers. You like the Doobie Brothers?
The fact that radio guys would say that.
I fucking hate.
What do you mean, radio guys? You're looking at one that used to say it that way.
No, you didn't.
I thought I was cool when I did it.
But
Did you make it up, or was it something?
I got it from. I think I got it from Brother Weeze back in the day, but then I started saying it too.
Oh, did you feel guilty the first time you said it?
No, I said I gave Weeze credit always.
But that for Brother Weeze,
Always.
he's a Vietnam vet. There's something about that's organic. Like that's how kind of a fucking a Vietnam vet type of guy. Hey, they do be brother. All right, I get it.
They ain't related, but they do be brothers.
You're a younger guy. No,
Nice, right?
No,
That's good, right?
For him, yes.
Good stuff.
For him, yes. For you,
No.
You should have fucking got douche shivers on the back of
All
your
right,
neck.
just play the Jesus song. We'll be back.
And now, back to the show. Aren't you glad you didn't drive off that bridge?
What's going on? We got Bob Kelly in studio. And for the first time ever, Todd Barry. What's up, Todd?
Thank you. First time ever.
I would have thought you were on before.
Yeah? Well, guess what?
That was awkward, huh?
I was on. It was amazing. It just waited 11 years to bring me back.
It was at Rich Voss's surprise party, and I'm a big fan of Todd Barry, and I go, hey, Todd, man, it's been a while. When are you coming back on our show? And he looks at me deadpan and just goes, I've never been on your show. I'm like, oh, wow.
It was one of those things where you're not sure whether you're supposed to like, oh, yeah, let's do it again.
Right.
But I chose to be honest.
That's better. Always better to be honest.
I guess. I just feel like Todd Barry has been on our show. There's a few guys, I guess, that haven't been on our show that I feel have done the show. Right. Whatever.
Yeah, that's all right.
We're here now.
Let's not waste any more time.
Yeah, you're here now, Todd.
Yeah, it's like that awkward thing. Do I pretend that it was, that'd be nice. That's probably what I would have done. I'm such a fucking worm. I would have been like, yeah, it was great. Let's do it again.
Then you're playing Caroline's next weekend.
It's Caroline's, and then I'm going to the Midwest, and then Buffalo.
I heard you're doing a crazy tour, too. You're going over to Europe.
I know. I'm going to Europe.
You're all over the place.
Oh, you're doing a Europe thing.
Yeah, in October, I'm going to go to Stockholm.